Continue to follow that breaking news again, the war in Israel here. In several different elements of this war, as you well know. One of those is the American hostages, the potential American hostages that we have heard about from the State Department, from the president during his speech to American, really the world, yesterday. I want to bring in the host of Frontlines, Carl Higbie, U.S. Navy SEAL, to talk about this. Again, a report, Carl, by the way, thanks so much for coming on. Thank you for your service. And I know we'll see you later this afternoon. But this report coming in, and we also had a few of our guests on it, that there is a special ops team en route, essentially what they're calling door kickers, to find these American hostages. Can you talk about that situation, the difficulties they may face? Again, important to point out, they are not there to help out with the operation by IDF, but they are there, at least the report says, to find these potential American hostages. What does that look like?
Sure. So door kickers are people who do just that, kick doors. And look, SEALs are trained extensively in hostage rescue, a high-value target. We go in, we get people, we kill them, or we capture them, or we save our own people. What's going to happen here is now you're talking about nitty-gritty door-to-door stuff. Now, the intelligence that goes behind this is the biggest battle. You have to find out where they are. You have limited resources. We travel in small teams, 4, 8, 16 tops, because you have to get in and get out without being found, because we don't have the firepower among a small group to take on an entire Hamas cell on an 8-block radius. So intelligence is the first thing. The next thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to send guys into those doors. Now, when you're in a barricaded position like these Hamas guys are, it's a 10-to-1 ratio of how risky it is. There's a 1,000% chance that the guys coming through the door are the ones who are going to take the bullet, because obviously the other guys are barricaded. They know their routes and entrances and exits. We're coming into a new place. That said, these Hamas guys are screwed. There is nobody better in the world, anywhere, that can do this better than American forces. And they're going to go in. As long as we can locate our people, we will get them back, and we will kill a lot of bad guys in the process.
You know, talking about that, these are people, these are terrorist groups, Hamas particularly, that know no war crimes. And we've seen that. Right. And they don't hold back. They fight in a barbaric manner. What is that like when it's not military to military combat, but rather facing these factions, facing these terrorist groups in terms of fighting? What is that like? Well,
the biggest threat is the rules of engagement. So right now, we don't know what those are going to be. They haven't been defined clearly. The general rules of engagement is we try not to kill people who are not trying to kill us. But when you're fighting a faction like this, you could be a terrorist 1 second, take off your bulletproof vest and throw up your hands and say, I'm a civilian, I'm not engaged in this stuff. And that's a discretion call. And one of the biggest problems I had when I was in Iraq was having these type of people. They'd run out of ammo, throw their gun in the side, they'd walk out in the street and say, hey, look, I don't know what's going on. You have no idea. You just know that you were being shot at 1 second and you're not the next. I would encourage American leaders to be very, very flexible and take the word of the guys on the ground, not looking to hang guys out for war crimes or stupid stuff that they've done in the past. You need to back our troops that you just sent into an extremely dangerous scenario. Let them make the judgment calls on the ground, because you are fighting people that will just disperse back into the mix. Let them do their job, and there is going to be collateral damage, but we need to be accepting of that.
Really quickly, the place we're talking about in Gaza is roughly a little more than 20 miles. I mean, for
Manhattan,
right? For something like for a special ops team to go in, is it safe to assume that there is intel out there that may harbor where the Americans could be held hostage? Otherwise, it seems like finding a needle in a haystack.
So our intelligence is really good. Without talking about too much, I have talked to a lot of guys who are on the periphery of these intel operations, currently going on. Our intel is really good. I mean, both sides have people embedded here and there. We know in generalities where these people are, but right now Hamas is counting on these hostages to keep Israel and maybe potentially down the line America from indiscriminately bombing entire sectors, because we can only narrow this down so much.
Right, or possibility of using it for negotiation, which we've seen in the past too.
Well, but the other thing is Biden just signaled to the world that an American hostage is worth $1 billion each.
Right.
So
That's one of the, again, yeah, one of the focus points on that is what could Hamas do, again, if there are indeed Americans trapped and held hostage. Carl Higbie with deep knowledge on this. Carl, we appreciate that. Don't forget, you can catch Carl Higbie every day, 5 p.m., his show Frontline right here.
Tonight we're going to walk through hostage rescue and how it would go.
You don't want to miss that. All right, Carl, thanks so much for that. We do appreciate it. Thanks. More continue.